Hello there beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Guess where we are? We are back in my kitchen for Kitchen Chronicles. Hello, hey, we're in the kitchen because realistically I'm hungry. I feel like this might become a regular thing, I don't know, but I feel there's a lot out there to talk about. So I was like, okay, well, while I cook, let us have a chat and let's just make this Kitchen Chronicles a thing. And I wanted to talk about how not to be treated like shit. Okay, how not to be treated like something on the bottom of someone's shoe, how to understand your self-worth. I get a lot of questions and messages about this kind of stuff. I really felt after watching Khloe Kardashian really kind of play herself and Jordan and this whole situation, I felt like, you know what, it's really valuable to talk about self-worth. And I'm not an expert, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is something that I have had to build myself in, and I'm still building myself in. And I tell people all the time, listen, I'm not anywhere, I'm on a journey. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. Like, Patricia, you need to have some self-worth, girl. So I wanted to really approach it while also making your lips quiver or dribble if you were hungry, because I'm hungry and my mouth is watering at the thought of a Thai red curry. So we're gonna get into it right about now. And I just realized that there's a lot of boobage here. Hi boobs, hi boobs. Okay, let's get into this video. Okay, so let's get into the ingredients. First ingredient is a red Thai curry paste. To be honest, I never ever make my own paste from scratch. I need my Thai friends to help me out with that. Next up, you need the coconut milk, which is basically the base of the Thai green curry. Some garlic, some ginger. I love putting certain veg in mine, carrots, sweet corn, and mange too, or sugar snap peas. When it comes to my seasoning, I have bags and bags of seasoning that I always get from abroad because the seasoning in the shops just don't cut it. And this is a mix with like black peppercorns in it, rosemary, thyme, paprika, a bunch of them. And then I also like a little Dunn's River all-purpose as well. Some rosemary and a cup of water. I'm just gonna steam this chicken and let it cook for the next like 20 minutes. So when it comes to not being treated badly and knowing your self-worth, it's got a lot to do with yourself. I genuinely feel that when people don't know themselves that well, or they have a lack of self-acceptance, so they don't really maybe like themselves or want to change something about themselves, they seek validation from others. And I feel like I've definitely been that person, you know, that person that's like, I hope they like me. And so sometimes when you have that mindset of I hope they like me because you don't even like yourself, sometimes that will lead to people treating you badly because they already can see that you don't think you're all that. And I think that sometimes they take advantage of that. Now, I'm gonna be honest, at my big age, there are times where I still am like very unsure of myself. And I consider myself to be a grown-up, okay? I consider myself to be grown and sexy, darlings. But there are times I'm like, or even when I walk into new situations where I'm just very unsure of myself, I'm not very assertive. And then that's when you sometimes get treated badly. And I think with Khloe, there's an element of, I think she was the one that everyone talked bad about, and she didn't necessarily accept that image, and she really wanted to change up her look and change up her vibe and everything, which I think she did well, because for a big season, Khloe was everyone's favorite. Of all the Kardashians, I think we all liked Khloe. But I think there was an element of her not accepting herself and wanting others to validate her. And I find that clearly she's had issues of the man them coming and going quite regularly. And I don't know if it's something about the aura she might be giving off. Because certain things that Tristan done that I saw obviously online like everybody else was actually, you're actually rude and you've got no respect. Wow. Like, he doesn't even feel embarrassed for some of the things that he does. Like, you're not even ashamed. Now, to be honest, that is a reflection of him being like not so amazing as an individual. I want to use harsher terms, but I'm going to try and keep it PG. But a level of, you couldn't see that this guy was this dumb. And this was because you just wanted someone like this to accept you. So in summary of that point, if you find it difficult to accept yourself and you're going to seek others to validate you, and then probably because they see that insecurity in you, if they are not a good person or trash, they're going to take advantage of that. The next thing when it comes to being treated like ish or not knowing your self-worth is this fundamental statement that I love in life, which is about repeating the same action and expecting expecting a different result. Every time you do a certain thing, something happens, right? And you keep doing that thing, you keep picking the same guys, you keep taking the same action, right? All of that stuff, and then you keep getting the same result, which is usually a bad result. Something dead is happening, right? Or you keep worrying about the same situations, or the same things keep happening over and over again. And then you're like, but why does this keep happening? Maybe because your input is exactly the same. And when it comes to being treated better, you almost have to have a plan about stuff. You guys know I'm obsessed with planning. I'm about to go and wash my veggies. I will say it is hard to control your external circumstances, but you can control yourself and what scenarios you put yourself in. Oh, and there's this other element I felt. Okay, let's get the part on. I feel like there was this element of self-sabotage. And I think this happens a lot with some of us who have lower self-esteem, where we don't think that we're worthy or that we're good enough. And it's not that you feel like that way all the time. So you might feel like that at work, or you might feel like that in relationship, or you might feel like that in situations with your family, that you're not good enough. So this element of self-sabotage. So you pick something that you kind of know isn't good for you, but because you don't necessarily think that you deserve any better. And I'm trying to think of the times that I've done that, and it's weird. It happens kind of undercover. You don't realize that you're doing it to yourself. And actually, I know exactly when I do this to myself. It sounds really strange and really dumb, and it's probably when I'm PMSing and I'm very hormonal. I'm going to talk about PMS really soon, actually. I would go into like a stupor, right? Is that the word? Stupor. I think that's what it is. But I would go into this like shutdown mode. I would know that what I was doing for me was wrong, but because I just didn't feel good in myself, I'd keep doing that thing. So it's so dumb, but I'd binge. I'd binge on, yeah, it sounds so bad. Oh my God, confessions, people. I'd binge on white chocolate bars and Wotsits. I love Wotsits, right? But you don't eat them every day just because you feel down. And then I'd watch shows. But I don't just watch shows. I watch shows for hours. So I'd watch a whole... I rewatched the whole of Game of Thrones. This was a bad patch, okay, people? It's really bad. And it's an element of me avoiding stuff. And, you know, this is me being really honest. Like, sometimes I avoid doing a lot of stuff. And if you don't see me sometimes, maybe it's because I'm having a moment. I'm avoiding these moments because I'm really realizing that they are self-sabotaging and they don't help me. And sometimes people pick bad guys over and over again because they don't think that they're worthy of any more. That maybe they like the thrill, but I really think it's knowing something's bad and continuing to do the same thing all the time. And I think we all do this regularly. Okay, I'm gonna go with my red curry paste. This is a good one. Thai taste. Thai. And in all honesty, like, this is easy. You put the paste in, you let it cook for a season. You can add some more onions, add some more garlic if you want to, and then we'll put the chicken in and let it be all marinated and divine. And then put a lid on it, mate. Ooh, look at that spoon. Look at that big old spoon. So really, let's get into how not to be treated like ish and how to actually know your self-worth. But before that, I'm gonna brown my chicken in the oven for a little bit and then put some coconut milk in here. So now we've got the lack of self-acceptance, repeating the same thing over and over and expecting different results, and the self-sabotage out of the way. What do you actually do? So the thing that I am trying to do, / what I'm trying to constantly do, is to really work out like who I am, like almost defining yourself really firmly and really securely, like who are you? And I feel like as people, we actually constantly evolve, we change all the time. And if you know, you were one person before, you know, you might have been a certain person when you're at school or at college, and now that you're an adult or you've had different experiences, you might be someone else, but you don't really know who you are. And I feel like for me, I have lots of different characteristics based on like the things that I've been exposed to, good and bad, my experiences, being a mum, being a wife, being a YouTuber. And I feel like it's really important to sit down and take the time and to define who do you want to be, who are you, and what do you stand for. Once you're firm in that, you'll also be able to determine what you're willing to take and what you're not willing to take. There's a lot of things you can be like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, that's not me. No, we're not friends anymore. And oh, I've also got to a place where and certain people in my life, I'm like, I'm really not that person anymore. And also people will think that, you know, because you were downtrodden or because you were a struggle or because you were the class clown or the dumb person, that you might still be that person today. And they're going to get a rude awakening where you're like, no, I've glowed the up, okay? And I think it's for you to sit down and define that. Ooh, the chicken's nice and brown. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm really hungry. Oh, you're just hungry.
Oh, chicken nice and brown.
Okay, so here's my chicken, a little bit more brown. It's not perfect, but it's enough. And now I'm gonna put it in. Babe, you're in my shop. Men. So here's my chicken. It is nice and brown. And just rub that paste. It goes all over that meat. Get that in there. And then I'm gonna get the coconut milk and pour that coconut milk right in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I know it looks separate and weird, but once this all heats up and cools, it's just meaty and creamy and yummy. Now, honestly, that is essentially the dish. Let's give it a few moments though. So carrying on from that, I think once you've taken that step, you then need to list out like what your value is and what you're willing to take and what you aren't willing to take. And I feel like you've got to do this for different circumstances. So if it comes to dealing with guys, dealing with colleagues, dealing with your own self, your own personal situations, like, do you know what? I'm not going to deal with me being this way in these scenarios anymore. Or I'm not going to deal with a colleague who is rude to me, okay? And this is how I'm gonna act in that situation. You can even list out how you will respond and act in situations. You guys know I'm obsessed with planning, and it's all about just being prepared. And I think the more you're prepared for situations where you might get the piss taken out of you, you will know what to do and what you want. And I think another thing that affects people is these labels that we have, that people have put on us. And I think you have to drop those. So I feel like with Chloe, she always had she's the tallest, guys don't like her as much. She's the rebel, she's the bad one. And I think also she's the loyal one. So she seems to be someone who sticks out-ish, even if it isn't great, like Lamar and all that jazz. And I feel like you have to drop labels that people put on you so that you can live your best life. And in all things, I've got to say this, right? You've got to be patient with yourself. Learn to get that self-healing. I think I might have mentioned this. I've just started therapy, which is why I really wanted to do a video like this. I'm throwing in my carrots for sweetness now. Carrots take a little longer. I think that taking that time to be patient with yourself and to also have that element of self-healing. And I know that sometimes when you feel like you've not been treated well, especially by those that you love or those that are meant to love you, when they don't treat you well, it really hurts. But you have to be patient and honestly drop those labels that others might have put on you, because it really doesn't help us in any situation. And my tarot card tastes good. Tastes good. And I think with the carrots in it, it's gonna give it that sweetness. Sorry, that was a serious point, but then there was also like yummy tasting going on, you know? Another point I was actually gonna add is that if you're around people who don't, one, treat you well or with respect, you gotta get out of the situation. You either tell them, like, honestly, I don't like the way you're treating me, in the best way possible that avoids conflict, if you're not someone who's, you know, down for conflict. Sometimes you just have to get out of situations, you know? Oh gosh, this is steaming up nicely. I hope that looked easy and not that hard. I don't know. let's plate this. And people are asking me like, how can you lean on your cooker straight after cooking? It's an induction hob, so it's really cool. Like, it's only hot when there's a pan on it. Weird, right? Technology. Right, I'm gonna get some rice now. Rice. Rice is like white gold. Is that what they call it? That's what I call it. Some people like their Thai curry. Actually, I always get Thai curry out of a bowl, usually, but I'm trying to be fancy just for you guys. Yeah. Ooh. Maybe one day we'll do a mukbang and sit down and eat together, but for now, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I want to have more chats. So if you want to talk about anything, let me know. I'm gonna eat now. She's hungry. She's hungry. She's hungry. The shoulders are shaking. It's creamy. It's spicy. It's taking me back to Thailand. I'm gonna sit down and enjoy this now. So guys, I'll catch you all later. Bye.